What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. In this video I'm going to be showing how to do a proper rocket and grenade spam and how to have proper technique when strafing in GTA 5 sniping PvP. I'll also be showing you the different attachments I have on all my Mark II weapons, or at least the main ones I use. So if you enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go ahead and hop into this. Now, for rocket spamming, you're going to want to, the best way to do it is what I call switch spamming, where you're going to shoot your rocket, and you're going to quickly switch up to your throwable, and then switch back down to your rockets. Granted, you might be a little slow when starting, but you will also, as you do it more, you will also get better and get faster. Same thing goes with the homing launcher. Now, do I recommend using the sticky bomb with spamming? No, because if you have cops or you're finding someone who's using any kind of weapons that's not explosive, there is a chance that whatever the case may be, whatever the case may be, NPC, op, or player can shoot your sticky bomb. So I recommend using pipe bomb, tear gas, or grenade. Personally, I use the pipe bomb. Now, another way of rocket spamming is what I call homing RPG spam, where it's a more complicated spam in my opinion. Only select people do it that I can think of off the top of my head. Off the top of my head, I know of Recoil, Eliza, and Delete Your Game that do this type of spam. And they say to go through use your triggers to go back and forth between it. Personally, I've never been able to get it to work that way. I know other people can use their D-pad to do it, but like I said, I've never been able to get it to work that way. So what I do for my spam is I use the trigger, my right trigger, and my left on my D-pad. If you can get it going fast enough, it is a very good spam. Moving on to grenades, you can do the throwable spam with it, or you could go and find yourself some cover and do a really quick, shoot your gun without looking at a cover, by just using your trigger. And as you can see, you can just shoot as many as possible without a problem. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are going to say that using this kind of technique is basically cheating. Not really, when you think about it. To some people it may seem like cheating, but if you actually think about it, 2025 and 2026 PvP, all you see are people using rocket spams. For the most part, hardly any sniping anymore. So in my opinion, it's best to know how to counter the different attacks.
What's the move?
Now that I think about it, there's another technique I'm going to show you after I get back out of the hangar. But here's my sniper. And for those who don't know, all you have to do is get the heavy sniper, then upgrade to the Mark II form. What I use is the extended magazine, the thermal scope. Every once in a while I'll use the advanced scope. No problem with that. For muzzles, I'll use the bell-end muzzle brake. Sometimes I'll use the squared, sometimes I'll use the suppressor. It's all dependent on how I feel. It doesn't really matter either way. As for barrel, if you use the heavy barrel, you can get a bit more range. Damage doesn't really do much, but as you can see here, it just adds a bit more range. You unlock that with your bunker research, just like you unlock the thermal scope with the bunker research. And those are the attachments I use for my sniper. For my combat MG, again, it's the extended clip. I don't have a grip on it. I use the holographic scope just because I think it looks better than a big, bulky, large scope, or the medium scope even. As for muzzles, I use the split-in muzzle brake. Barrels, I use the heavy barrel. And that is the Combat MG Mark II. And again, for those who don't know, it's you just buy the Combat MG and upgrade it to Mark II form. For the marksman rifle, I don't use it very often, but when I do, these are the attachments I have on it. The extended clip. I do not have a flashlight on it, as you can see. I just use the regular zoom scope. I use the suppressor because, in my opinion, the marksman, when it's not suppressed, sounds very annoying. It actually gives me a headache listening to. So I use the suppressor on it. No grip. Use the heavy barrel, of course. And again, you just buy the marksman and upgrade it to Mark II form. For the shotgun, shotgun Mark II, I use explosive slugs. You unlock those at your bunker, as well as most other types of ammo. All but the tracer rounds you unlock at the bunker for ammo types for the Mark II weapons. I do have a flashlight on this. I have the holographic scope, the muzzle brake. That's actually what it's called, it's just the muzzle brake. And again, just pump shotgun, change format into Mark II. For the bullpup rifle Mark II, I just use the extended clip. I do have a flashlight on it, the holographic scope, the heavy barrel, the split-in muzzle brake, no grip. For the special carbine Mark II, the extended clip, I do have a flashlight, the large scope, the split-in muzzle brake, I do have a grip on it, and the heavy barrel. Last but not least, my revolver. I love this thing. For those who don't know, if you actually hit a buzzard or a police maverick with the heavy revolver, you can actually take off its tail rudder, setting it down, which is very fun to watch, and something I do when I'm playing. For ammo types, though, on this I just have the default rounds. Scope, I have the holographic scope. Flashlight, I do have. I have the compensator muzzle brake, or muzzle, I should say. And that is it for the heavy revolver Mark II. Now, I will go through and say, let me get some head back up to the side because I have something else to say. I'm not telling you you have to use the exact attachments I have on my Mark II weapons, but I'm telling you what I have and what I've gotten so much success with. Now, there is a trick that I forgot to mention previously with all the spamming, and it's not really technically a spam, but it's a really good trick for if someone's hiding behind a corner. You'll use your homing launcher and you'll use your flare gun. You're going to shoot your rocket, you're going to shoot your flare. If you do it fast enough, you can do that. You've probably seen other YouTubers like Peaceful Lemon, Delete Your Game. I think Snake uses it every once in a while. I don't know every YouTuber that does use it. All I know is it's a very useful trick to know. And I enjoy it. It's fun to mess with people, especially if they're up on a rooftop with that, just to get them down quickly. Last thing I'm going to show is my settings that I use. Now, I'm not going to tell you to use these settings. These are what I use. I'm going to tell you to use the settings that you find you're most comfortable with. For sprint mode, I just use type to sprint. I don't have the controller vibration off because that just gets absolutely annoying. I do not have invert look off. Honestly, I do not remember what that does. I think it has to do when you're running and trying to look at something, it'll automatically put it back to where you're centered. Third person control type and first person control type are standard FPS 2, where you will use RB to run, A to jump, and X to take cover. Or if you're on PlayStation, I believe that's R1 to run, X to jump, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's square to take cover. I'm not a PlayStation person, as you can see. I do believe that was right. If you play on PlayStation and I got that wrong, please let me know down in the comments. Now, as for all of these bars here, I just have them maxed out. And of course, allow movement with 0. Having these maxed out allows me to be able to just flip around like I do. It makes it quicker and easier. But like I said, I'm not going to tell you you have to use those. With camera, I do not allow independent camera modes because I just don't like the fact of if you get into a vehicle in first person, when you get out, it switches you to whatever camera mode you're in first on foot, and then switching you back to when you get back into that class of vehicle. Vehicle camera height I have on high so I can see above all my cars and all that. First person auto level camera is turned off because if it's turned on, I'll show you what happens. Looking up, it automatically centers. Look up, automatically centers. So I will recommend turning that one off because it's not worth it. First person field of view I have maxed all the way out because again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe you're actually able to see further with it. I could be wrong, but like I said, this is how I have mine. I'm not saying you have to have yours this way. I don't have first person ragdoll, first person combat roll, or first person head bobbing on. First person to third person cover is a very useful one. Because if you're in cover, or if you're trying to go into cover first person, you're not going to be able to see nothing. So if you go into a cover one first person with this, like this, it'll switch you into third person. Once you get out of cover, it switches you back into first person. It makes it very useful so you can be able to see around corners or whatnot, or under cover. First person vehicle auto center. I do not remember what this does. I do not remember why I have it on. And first person vehicle hood is useful for if you're using like a scramjet or deluxo bombing people. It comes in handy that way.
Remember the XX guy I was telling you about? He killed me 2 times and on his side it was 2-0. And on my side it was 5-3. And I just keep telling him 5-3 and he's like, how the fuck are you doing that? Like, how is the score like that? You just keep so fucking pissed off. No, we fought before, 100%. I remember that username. No, we fought a long time ago. Dang. Who hits? But What? But 2 shots in my brain is amazing. I saw you through the fucking ground. I'm not actually. I mean, wait, I was actually. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna turn up very fucking soon. No. Didn't even shoot it both. I have it. Sorry. I didn't have anything. I went to my sniper, and then it. I don't. Dang. RP to the NPC. I want cocaine.
Ways I've found to get better at sniping are to head into director mode, choose your online character, and head up to the top of the Mace Bank Tower, as you can see right here. When you're up at the top, you can open your interaction menu, go to the settings, go to wanted status, you'll turn that onto high, and make sure you have invincibility on. That way you don't die. When you do that, you'll get an instant 5-star wanted level, and from there you just start going through and sniping the helicopters. That is one of the easiest ways that I know to get better at sniping against helicopters and the like. When you're done fighting the helicopters up at the Mace Bank Tower, what you could do to work on fighting people on ground in your strafe is head to the beach and start strafing and sniping against the NPCs. Try to go for the flick shots so that you're not totally reliant on your opponent's strafe. Sniping the NPCs off jet skis can also help for if you have anyone trying to get away on the boat. This is one of the most effective ways I know. This is one way I've used myself even to try and get better with my sniping. Last but certainly not least, if you want to get better when it comes to sniping oppressors and the like, head to the Sandy Shores airfield and snipe the birds. Again, trying to go for flicks. One thing you will notice is even though I'm sniping the birds, I'm still missing. You will never, ever hit every shot when you're trying to snipe a vehicle. So if you think you will, you won't. Coming up here in just a moment will be a friend of mine's point of view of him sniping me off my oppressor to show that if you actually work at it, you can get better at sniping against oppressors or anything like that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the video. If you made it to this part, give yourself a round of applause for watching through it. I want to give a special shout out to the people who helped make this video possible by getting me their POVs of 1v1s I did with them. If you head down to the description, there will be a bunch of links. There will be YouTube links and Twitch links to go along with my personal Discord and my Instagram. Feel free to join my Discord, follow me on Instagram, so that if you have any extra questions, you could DM me. If you also click on the YouTube and Twitch channel links, go drop a sub or subscribe or follow for them. It'll mean the world to them and to me to show them the support. I want to thank all of you as well, because y'all are absolutely amazing. Thank you for watching the video. And just remember, I make bad choices, so you don't have to. Just catch you on the next one.